So we are going to study about 555 timer and its application. So you have already seen this 555 timer IC, and also we'll come to know why it is called 555 timer. It has 8 pins. The 8 pin is plus VCC, and the first pin is ground. Second one is the trigger. Third one is the output. Fourth one is reset. Fifth one is the control voltage, threshold, and then we are having discharge. Basically, the main application of this 555 timer IC is to get stable time delays in many of the application, and also in the last chapter we have discussed about how to generate the oscillations by using different discrete components by connecting them individually. How we can generate the oscillation here by using 555 timer IC, we can also generate oscillation. Which we are going to study in the later part. Stable multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, bistable multivibrator. So these are all the different types of multivibrators which are going to generate the oscillations by using the 555 timer IC. And also we are having the op-amp based RC phase shift oscillator, op-amp based uh, Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, and even Wien Bridge oscillator. All those things we are having. Instead of having a transistor, we can replace that part, that amplifier part, by just using the op-amp, and we can do it. The same way, by just using 555 timer also, we can generate the oscillation. The same way where we can use a NUS 741 op-amp in the RC phase shift or Colpitts, we can generate the oscillation. In the same way, by directly using 555 timer IC also, we can generate the oscillations. So it is having two operating modes. One is known as the monostable mode, and the other one is astable mode. So monostable means one state will be stable. Astable means none of the states will be stable. It will be continuously changing. So whenever we talk about complete cycle, so during that time, in that at least one state is stable, then it is known as monostable. If none of the states are stable, we call it as astable multivibrator. So this will be operating from the range of plus 5 volt to plus 18 volt. So this is what it is going to take the voltage, especially the plus VCC, whatever it is going to take. And here it is going to have a control voltage and threshold. This is to just compare any given input and try to give the output.
Huh? Your voice is cracking, sir.
Is it same for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So how is it now? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes, sir.
better
Better,
now.
sir.
Okay. So main applications of this one is oscillator, ramp generator to generate the pulse width modulated waves or pulse position modulated waves, pulse width modulated waves or pulse position modulated waves, and also it can act as a frequency divider. This application we are going to study, and also this can be used in automatic battery charger to because here we can use it to discharge. So by using this by using this 555 timer also, we can also charge a battery. So that is one of the basic applications we are having. Coming to the basic working model of this 555 timer IC, what actually it contains inside and how it works. To understand the 555 timer IC, first we'll understand the basic timing diagram. So how actually a timing diagram is going to work or timer is going to work. So it contains basically this 555 timer IC. It contains a small comparator which is going to keep on comparing the two inputs, and it will be having a flip flop. And here the manual input will be given, whatever the external input you need to give, that will be given in the reset pin. And we have one more resistor and which is connected to the capacitor, and further it will be connected to the ground. So this we are going to have a connection with respect to the transistor, and again it will be connected to the ground. This input of the transistor will be connected to the Q, that is the set output, and negative terminal is connected to the voltage divider circuit, which is having R1, R2, and this is just example we have taken 10K and 5K. This is plus VCC, the capacitor, and this is some more resistor we are having. So it is an SR flip flop which we have used for the purpose of understanding the timing diagram. So by using this plus VCC, let us assume is 15 volt. By using this plus VCC, now some amount of voltage will be having across R2 and R1, because since it is a voltage divider circuit, it will be having some amount of voltage drop across R1 as well as R2. Now this comparator's main aim is to compare between the two inputs, and based on that it is going to set or reset this flip flop. So correspondingly the output will be generated, whether it is a positive or the whether it should be a positive pulse or negative pulse, that will be depending upon the charging and discharging of the capacitor. The output voltage, whatever we are getting, that will be in line with the discharging of the capacitor. So now let us see how it is going to work. See now, initially let us assume the voltage across this point is high. So when the voltage across this point is high, during that time, high in the sense the voltage at this node is greater than the voltage across this node. When the voltage at the non-inverting terminal is greater than the voltage at the inverting terminal, during that time the comparator output goes high. When this goes high, during that time the set becomes 1. When set becomes 1, this Q will become output Q will become 1. When Q is 1, automatically you know that Q bar will be 0. So during that time, when Q is high, since it is connected to the input of the transistor, that is to the base of the transistor, when the base is more, the base current, because high means the base current will be more. During that time, this transistor starts drawing the current from the capacitor. So whatever the capacitor will be having, that will be drawn through this transistor, and that will go to the ground. So the entire the capacitor is going to discharge through the ground, such that when this capacitor is going to discharge, during that time the voltage across this node will become lesser and lesser. Can you tell me why this node is dependent upon the capacitor, not on the resistor? Why it is dependent upon the capacitor? Why not on the transistor? Sorry, why not on the resistor?
Sir, because this circuit is analogous to the voltage divider circuit, sir. Even there, the voltage at the point is equal to the voltage across the second resistor.
Hmm.
Similarly here.
Hmm. Correct. Good. See here, the same way what we were doing in voltage divider circuit, where the base voltage VB was dependent upon R2 because the other terminal was grounded, but it was not dependent on R1 because the voltage across R1 is not VB, it is VCC minus VB. But the voltage across R2 is equal to VB. Here, in the same way, since the voltage across R is the difference between plus VCC and this particular node, and the voltage drop across the capacitor is the difference between this node and the ground. So obviously, the voltage across this will be VC, not VR. So the main effect of voltage across this node will be because of the capacitor, not because of the resistor. So now, when the base of the transistor is high, during that time, it is going to draw more current from the collector. When it draws more current from the collector, it is going to make it to flow to the ground. Now the capacitor is completely discharged or it is about to discharge. During that time, the voltage across this point will be lesser. When the voltage across this point is lesser compared to the voltage across this voltage across the non-inverting terminal, during that time, automatically the output goes to 0. When the output goes to 0, during that time Q will be 0. When Q is 0, then the base will be 0. The base terminal of the transistor will be 0. So when it is 0, in analog value, it will be 0 volt. So during that time, the transistor will be off. It will be in cutoff region. So when it is in cutoff region, it is going to offer more resistance. As we know, in cutoff region, it offers infinite resistance. So because of that, it will stop drawing the current through the capacitor. Meanwhile, since the capacitor has already lost its energy, so now it starts charging through this plus VCC. Through this path, this capacitor starts charging. This capacitor keeps on charging, and a time comes where the voltage across this point will be maximum compared to the inverting terminal because the capacitor voltage has reached the peak value of VCC, and so that the voltage across inverting terminal will become the lesser value compared to the voltage across the capacitor. Again, now what happens? Again, the voltage across this node will be more, so that the comparator output again it goes to 1. When it goes to 1, again that will be high. Because of that, the Q will be high. So again, this process will continue. So the base will be getting logic 1. Logic 1 is nothing but 5 volt in analog value. So now transistor will again turn on and transistor starts drawing the current through this. So the capacitor again starts discharging. So this charging and discharging process keeps on continuing. But at the same time, at the output side, we can observe that when the capacitor is charging, when capacitor is charging, during that time the output will be high because we are taking it across Q bar. So during that time the output will be high. By the time the capacitor is charging, the output will be high. When the capacitor starts the discharging, that is when the set becomes high. During that time, this will be in the off state. So this is how a positive pulse, negative pulse will be obtained. And when you connect the CRO across the capacitor as well as the output voltage, you are going to observe that when the capacitor is charging, you are going to get the output, and this is known as the T on period. Okay. So the on period is based upon the charging of the capacitor. How much time the capacitor charges, so that much time it is going to take. So on considering this, we are going to study the two modes of operation: monostable multivibrator mode of operation and astable multivibrator mode of operation. Monostable multivibrator So in the monostable multivibrator, uh, it is similar to what the basic timing diagram we are having, but instead of using a single comparator, here we are going to use two comparators. That is, two op amps will be used, but SR flip flop will be only one. So for this, first we will draw the resistors. And each of these resistors are 5 kilo ohm, 5 kilo ohm, 5 kilo ohm. This is the capacitor. So again, we are having an SR flip flop, Q bar, and one will be connected to the reset pin, and the other one will be connected to the set pin. We are having VCC, the fourth pin, which is reset. So at this point, we'll be having the 2x3 VCC, and here we'll be having 1/3 VCC. And at the pin number 2, we are going to give the triggering pulse. So we call this as upper comparator, and this as the lower comparator. And Q bar is the output. as T. And this is the T on time we are having, and this is the transistor T. So now, if you understand the working of this, it will be very easy for you to write. If you don't understand now, if you try to buy it or in any other way, if you try to remember, it will not work out. See here, plus VCC, whatever we are having, this plus VCC is going to have three 5K resistors. That's why it is known as 555 timer. It is going to have three 5 kilo ohm resistors. They are connected in the voltage divider circuit. That's why it is known as 555 timer IC. Okay, that is why the name 555 IC. Now, based upon the voltage drop at individual level. So at the first level, we are having just 5K. So it will be almost showing same voltage as VCC because it is directly connected over there. But when it is considered at this particular point, it will be 2 by third of VCC. The voltage at this point will be 2 by third of VCC. When you consider this point, it will be 1 by third of VCC. And this is the triggering pulse which we are giving, and to the inputting terminal of the lower comparator, the triggering pulse will be the input, and the voltage across the capacitor is considered as VC, and to the upper comparator, the non-inverting input is the voltage across the capacitor, as we discussed in the timing diagram. The same way, whatever the capacitor is going to charge, that voltage will be considered as the input, one input to the non-inverting terminal of the upper comparator. Now, in this case, we are going to first let us assume that Q is equal to 1. That is, output is high. Let us assume that we have to start explaining now. So let us assume Q is equal to 1. Automatically Q bar will be 0. So that is, there is no output. It is 0. So when Q is equal to 1, during that time, this transistor is going to turn on. When this transistor is going to turn on means it is going to enter into the saturation, and it offers very less uh, resistance for the flow of current. So during that time, this capacitor is going to discharge through this transistor, and it will be losing all its energy. When the capacitor loses all its stored energy by discharging it, during that time, the voltage across this node will become lesser. When the voltage across this node becomes lesser, during that time, this node, which is connected to the inverting terminal, will become greater than this node. And remember, always this will be maintaining 2 by third of VCC voltage. But this depends upon the capacitor. But this terminal, which is connected to this voltage divider circuit, they always maintain the constant voltage.
Repeat, sir.
Yeah. See, this circuit, whatever we are having, this circuit, the voltage drop at the nodes, this will be always constant. This node always maintains 1 by third of VCC because VC is fixed. So this will also be fixed. This always maintains 2 by third VCC. This will be fixed. But here, the voltage across this node and voltage across this node will be varying because the pin number 2 is dependent upon the triggering pulse, and this terminal, which is pin number 6 according to the 555 timer IC, and this will be pin number 7, the collector terminal. So pin number 6, since it is entirely dependent upon the capacitor, so depending upon the capacitor's voltage or its energy, this voltage will be varying. But these two nodes will be fixed always. They'll be having fixed voltage of 2 by 3 and 1 by 3 VCC. Remember this. Now, here, what I was telling is the capacitor has now discharged completely. When capacitor is discharged completely, during that time, automatically what should happen? This node voltage, that is which is connected to the inverting terminal, this voltage becomes greater than 6. So during that time, the inverting terminal will be greater compared to the non-inverting terminal, so that the output goes to 0. Output goes to low. Parallelly, here when the in the initial phase, whenever this is actually till VCC. So whenever the pin number 2 is lower, during that time the pin number 2 is at lower voltage. During that time, automatically the non-inverting terminal voltage will be dominating the inverting terminal voltage. During that time, the output of this op amp will be high. See, this is 0, this is 1. Automatically now what happens? This goes to 0, this comes to 1. When this comes to 1, during that time, since the output of Q is 0, this is going to switch off the transistor. When the transistor switch off, now this plus VCC, the current through plus VCC, it is going to directly flow through the capacitor, and the capacitor again starts discharging. Sorry, charging. The capacitor again starts charging. When the capacitor starts again charging, and when the voltage across the pin number 6, that is this node, is greater than this node, during that time, again the output of this comparator goes to high. Meanwhile, when this is going to high, during this time, we'll be getting a positive pulse, triggering pulse here. When you get a positive triggering pulse, during that time, the negative terminal will become greater than the positive terminal of this lower comparator, such that the output goes to 0 here, and here the output has come to 1, such that S is equal to 1, so Q will become 1, and this becomes 0 because the lower comparator output is 0. This is 1, and this is connected to transistor again. Transistor is turn on, again the capacitor starts discharging. So now the capacitor discharges completely. When the voltage across this capacitor becomes lesser than this voltage across the inverting terminal of upper comparator, again the upper comparator output goes to 0. At the same time, here the triggering pulse signal will goes to lesser value. The lesser in the sense it is lesser than 1 by third VCC. Maximum is 1 by third VCC. Maximum is VCC. If it goes 1 by third VCC, less than 1 by third VCC, again now the non-inverting terminal is on, is at higher potential compared to the inverting terminal. The output goes to 1, such that the reset is 1. When reset is 1, the output will be 1. So meanwhile, this will become 0. This process keeps on continuing. Because of this process, and because of the charging of the capacitor and discharging of the capacitor, we will be having the output. So while charging, we'll be having the output. While discharging, we'll be having 0. So like this, we'll be able to produce a square waveform. So here, since we are talking about monostable multivibrator, each state will be stable. At least one state, mono means single. Single state will be stable. So that's why we are mainly concentrating on the positive state of the output. The positive state will be constant. It will be stable. It will not be varying. But when you take astable multivibrator, it will be keep on changing continuously. That we will see it. For this monostable multivibrator, we are having a derivation. Also, we need to explain this monostable multivibrator using 555 timer IC directly. Actually, this is the internal part. Whatever we are having, no, entire thing. This entire thing is the internal part of the IC. Inside the IC, we'll be having all these circuits. In the exam, if they ask you explain monostable multi-vibrator, then you need to explain this one. If they ask you explain the monostable multi-vibrator using 555 timer IC, then you can directly write the IC and you can explain. So that everything will be same. Instead of writing this op amp, the comparators, flip flops, everything, you just write an IC and you will just explain how it is going to work. So that we will see in the next class. Along with that, we are having a derivation, which is very important. So based on this, we are having different application like frequency divider, missing pulse detector, and all that we need to study. After that, we will be studying with respect to the unstable multivibrator and its application. This is a very small chapter. Mainly, this chapter is based upon unstable and monostable multivibrator and its small application. So just try to understand this. In the next class, we will go to the derivation part. So I'll be asking the working of it tomorrow individually.